Today, I'm going to be interviewing two people that are really, really special to me, and I have worked with them in the past. These two people, as you'll soon see, are twins, and they look very, very similar. However, they're very different and unique human beings, which is crazy in my opinion. So I have two real life examples here. Grew up together, have the same parents, and yet they're so different. And so today we're going to explore how two people with the same environment, with the same parents, with the same upbringing, and how they are going to conquer the world. Maribel and Maria, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Good. Thank you, Diana, for having us. Thank you, Najah.
So before we get into the questions about your similarities and differences, I want to know from you a little bit about your background. And I have Najah here who's going to...
Oh, yeah, I'm here too. Hello.
And I have Najah here to help with asking some of those questions about the two of you. How did you grow up? Tell us your history, and then we're going to delve into the differences between the two of you.
I'll let you start, and then I can jump in.
Where we were born in Mexico, in Guadalajara, Jalisco, a little town about an hour from Guadalajara. Raised by our parents and brought here to the United States when we were about 5 years old. We would travel back and forth for summers or vacations until we eventually just stayed here after my dad passed. So we've lived here since in the valley, in the low desert, and that's where I have my family now.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much the same because you're twins.
Yeah, I think, one important part, and I think it's why our story is so interesting, I think, is because we're adopted. Mm-hmm. But we didn't find out we were adopted until we were 11. So it brings in the different perspectives. And even though we did grow up together and we were raised by the same parents, we both saw things very differently. So it's, even though we're twins and we look so much alike, we have different ways that we do things and that we learn things.
What are some of those different ways? What made you different growing up, and when did you start seeing the differences between the two of you? From the beginning, did you think that you guys were the same, or did you see automatic differences? What was that like growing up, and how did you have that self-discovery?
I think we identified differently at a very early age, mm-hmm. just from starting early elementary school. We had different friends. We had different interests as far as sports. I was always the one that was more athletic, into like soccer, roughhousing, playing with the male teams, where she was a little bit more of the feminine, calm side. But then we're even different in our parenting styles now that we're older and we're married. Well, I have my kids, but I'm more of the strict on the kids parent, where I'm a little bit rougher with them, the tough love, and she's the very gentle parent.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because everybody, even at work, they confuse us. Sometimes they'll approach me thinking it's her. Mm-hmm. But I feel like since we were young, we knew we were twins, but we didn't see
the similarities.
Yeah, which is funny because, I mean, we obviously look alike, but I feel like we're completely different people. Yeah.
Were you curious to know your original parents? And what's the story? Because, obviously you were born twins, and then your blood parents mm-hmm. Left a twin. Mm-hmm. It's kind of different.
So we were born in Mexico, as I mentioned, and our biological mom passed 3 days after delivery from complications. She had a marriage prior to that, but they were from a different partner. So her two prior children went with her partner's family. And then for us, we were kind of the in-between, where they were just keeping us in a home where she was staying temporarily until they figured who could take over our care. And that's where my mom came in. She had just married and she couldn't have kids. So then they talked to the lady that was keeping us and just said, she really wants kids. She can't have kids of her own. Would you consider this? And then we went with them. We found out when we were older, but to us, at least in my perspective, I feel like it wasn't much of a difference to me, because growing up from 3 days old to being 10, when we found out 10 or 11 years old, it's the people we've been with all our life. So
when you found out, were you shocked? Were you?
I think we were both, we never forget one because it's something that changed our life. I feel like But also because we were laughing. We thought they were joking with us. Like, come on, don't be. You know when they say you're adopted? We thought they were playing. But it wasn't until we looked towards the front because we were sitting in the back of our van and my mom and dad were in the front. And we looked at her and she had tears in her eyes. Yeah. And we realized they weren't lying. They were messing around. And I think it was different for both of us. I feel like, of course, we love, like, our biological parents are our biological parents, but our mom and dad that adopted us and raised us, they're everything to us. But I did have questions when we found out we were adopted. I was just too scared to ask because I took their feelings into consideration. I didn't want to hurt them. Whereas I think you were more...
I felt like I didn't have an interest to know someone who didn't care to know me as being a part of them, you know? Like when you conceive a child and then there should be this, even if it takes a while to process because there's stages that you go through, but when you see that baby, you're like, oh, that's a part of me. There's automatic sense of protection, love, and like nurture that you feel towards them that you just want to put them in a little box and protect them from anything and everything. But as someone that didn't feel that for me, I felt like there was no need for me to even know that person, who they are, what they look like, any of that.
But did you ever suspect that these were not your true parents?
We didn't. And it was funny because growing up in elementary school, there was this one classmate that would always say, like, you don't look like your mom. Because my mom's on a darker complexion, and we're fair complex. So she would always say, you guys don't even look like your mom. You're adopted. And I remember we would go home and we would tell my mom, she keeps saying we're adopted. My mom would say, tell her you look like your grandma. Your grandma's very fair skinned too. We were like, okay. And then when we found out, we were like, so it was true. We are adopted.
But she would, my mom would try to find little things here and there to make us feel like we looked like her. Like I remember we have a chubbier nose. Like our nostrils on the side have a little bit of an extra skin. And she would say, you have that from me. Yeah. Just so that we could feel like we had something from her and we wouldn't start questioning it because she was very self-conscious about the whole adoption. She thought at one point in time we would question her or throw it back at her and say, like, you can't tell me anything. You're not even my mom.
Yeah. Which never crossed our mind.
Yeah. Till this day, it hasn't. She's our mom. Yeah.
Wow. And growing up, I know for me, and this is why I was excited to ask you this specific question. For me, growing up, I have a sister named Melissa that we're really close in age. And we were constantly compared growing up. And then they'd be like Melissa, she's sportier than I am. And so she's naturally more gifted at every single thing that she tries. And for me, I feel like I flunk out at everything sports-wise. So with that said, were there ever any comparisons between the two of you? Was one preferred in a certain way over the other? And how did that make you feel?
I felt like I was always more sociable, where I could go out and I would just talk to anyone and everyone. And it was just easier, but I think I was always a little bit more tough-skinned because I would always be around different crowds, where she was a little bit more of, when she was growing up, she was a little bit more self-conscious. So she was very careful with who she spoke to and the groups that she was around. So that was a big difference, but...
Yeah, I love how it's so funny because it proves more how we look so much alike and we're twins, but we're so different. And even what we've experienced growing up, it's so different because I remember we talked about this once and we people often ask us like, were you guys compared to each other or did one feel less than the other? Or was there ever any envy or like did one resent the other? And I feel like we've never resented each other. I feel like she's my greatest hype woman and I'm her greatest hype woman. We're very supportive. We're very close. But she experienced our childhood a completely different way than I did. She was very straight to the point, very blunt, like no what ifs. I'm going to do it and I'm not going to think about it and I'm just going to go for it because I don't want that what if. Whereas I thought things through very much before actually doing it. So I was very cautious when approaching even the crowds that we were around. And most of the time up until we were in middle school, I kind of piggybacked off of her until I started realizing she was going into a tougher crowd. And I thought,
like, I don't want to do that.
I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah. So,
What do you mean by tougher crowd?
like she wasn't afraid to be noticed, and I did better blending in, and being more of like a shadow. Just like that's my.
But
sister.
I feel like because she was she had that hesitance to go into certain crowds, that's where she started dealing with a lot of bullying in school. And because they noticed that hesitance in her when she walked into the room. And then that's where I was like, okay, because I'm in this tougher crowd, if someone does something to you, tell me, because I'm going to be right there.
Yeah.
So I was always the tougher, more like, whatever happens, even if I'm not there, you call me and I'm going to show up. And she was like,
But they did, to answer your question, I think they did compare us. A lot. Because, like your sister and you, she was the more athletic one. She was the more outspoken one. So I think people would try to test to see if I was the same. Mm-hmm. And also I wasn't as gifted when it came to sports or athletic things. So I stuck to like my books and reading in a corner or computer stuff. But then I feel like that's her strong suit is one thing, mine's another, and then when we come together, we just make it work. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a question about that, and I don't know if I'm going to phrase it well or if you're going to understand. But when it came to her being the sporty one, and you kind of said something about how like you stuck to, right? Did you stick to reading and all of these things because you kind of naturally felt that no matter what you did, you weren't going to be able to be as good as her?
No, I think the opposite. I think I tried stuff because I saw her doing it. So then I thought she would motivate me to do it. So she brought me out of my little bubble, and I would try things because of it. I feel like if she wasn't there, maybe I wouldn't have tried it. But then once I tried it, I could see for myself it was something I liked or I didn't, and then I'd prefer to stay back. I like being
your independence.
I like my alone time. I like recharging on my own. Whereas I feel like,
and it's funny saying her independence because yet we're always together. Yeah. But it's her independence in a way where we can be in the same room, in the same place, but she's fine with doing her own thing while I do something else.
And you both had kids at the same time at a very young age.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did that happen?
I don't think it's funny because we did. I mean, our oldest are 4 days apart, but we didn't plan it out. Hers was actually no. Her son was actually premature. Yeah, so he was supposed to be a couple months.
He was supposed to be a month or two after her delivery date, but I had an emergency delivery. So it was kind of like a rush thing. And by the time I was admitted into the hospital and then being discharged, she was going in for her delivery.
Wow.
So
I didn't know this.
because our oldest are 4 days apart. And then if I would have stopped with my third child, her second child and my third child are 4 months apart.
Yeah.
So it's, what a coincidence. It's funny.
Yeah. But I feel like that keeps us close because whether we planned things or not, we've stayed close and we've kind of done the same things.
Yeah, you've had the same phases of life.
Even at work, we didn't plan on working together. She actually started in cosmetology and what were you going to do? Esthetician or something? And I wanted to be in the medical field. And since I was little, I remember going into my dad's office and finding a medical dictionary, and I thought, that's what I'm going to do. And I started in the medical, I was doing medical assisting. And she was doing cosmetology. And then she kind of pivoted and started doing medical assisting as well. So I was doing specialties like ENT and I don't remember what else I was doing. And when she finished school, she went into urgent care and then dermatology. And she told me to join her, and I did. And we stayed there for about 10 years.
We were there for a while.
And once we left, we both jumped into human resources.
I know.
How did that happen? How is it? Because you're doing the same things. Who brings the other? How does that happen?
I think it's just a matter of whoever jumps into an area of work where you feel like it's a good work environment or that you enjoy what you're doing when we discuss it. Because sometimes we will have check-ins with each other where we're saying, how's your day going? What's your week look like? And I think just discussing that gives the other one, I don't know, an opportunity to maybe want to test the waters as well and be like, oh, let me try that too.
I feel like we have similar interests. So one does motivate the other to try things. But I mean, I didn't stay in human resources. I tried it because what she spoke of, human resources, I thought I would like to do. But then once I realized what more of the corporate aspect of human resources is, I thought, no, I want to do something that'll be fulfilling in the way that I'm helping people, which is what medical was for me. And then human resources where you can kind of blend the two, And that's when I thought, let me try operations because then I'll help the teams and the culture. Yeah.
Now that you both work in the same space, right? So I've been able to see the two of you working in the same space. I've been able to see people feeling flabbergasted that there's two people of this that look exactly the same working in their area, and they're confused with who's who, right? I think my question to you is, because you two know each other, does the other person behave differently at work than they do at home? And if so, how?
And I feel like that's with everyone. No, we behave different in a different way in different places. There's a place and a time for things. But we actually joke around about that.
I want to know all of it.
Because my sister, like we've said, I'm more of a calm. I try to mediate. And she's more blunt and straight to the point. She doesn't sugarcoat things, which I appreciate because she helps when I'm trying to think about how to say things to fix the issue. She's like, just say it. And this is what it is,
But sometimes we'll rephrase it.
Yeah. But at work, she's very professional, very pleasant and sweet. And the way she verbalizes things is not always how my sister would be at home, which is expected because you're working. But I feel like she's also more outgoing and I'm more calm, quiet, reserved, which is how we are at home. So there's a little bit of both.
I believe when we're at home and when you're in a work environment, you're just in that professional setting where you are mindful of what you're saying and how you're saying it. And then when we're home, we're comfortable, we're with our family members. So we're okay to make jokes that maybe at work we wouldn't be making, or we're okay to say certain terms that we wouldn't be saying at work. And we just laugh at it because sometimes we're on the phone with relationships from work, like friendships. And then they'll be like, oh, who is that? Is that Maribel? It's just funny. But we are still the same person. Just the Maribel you see at work, a little bit more free at home, but the same.
I'm able to relate to that because it's the same with Najah. When Najah is at work and I see him like speaking to his team, or when I see him out at conferences, I see how good he is at like being very, very calm, cool, and collected. Whereas coming home, and we have very candid and open conversations, that I see a lot more of that vulnerability that he normally wouldn't show to others.
Yeah, and then the whole industry that we are in, the content world, right? They always say you have to be authentic. You have to, but it's really hard. It's like, I don't know if it's even a good advice because nobody really can be authentic. I think we all wear a suit when we face the outside world, and that suit, what people, whether they like it or not. I know that you are also exploring like starting podcasting and stuff. So what's your views on podcasting or the content on the show, and why do you really consider starting a podcast?
I feel like we've discussed the idea of podcasts and different ways. One is like I studied psychology and I'm very passionate about it. And just sharing tools and resources to people, specifically like our community who's very underserved and they don't know where to seek those tools or help, or it's a taboo, right? So that was one of my ideas for podcasting. I wanted to share that. But then we also have such candid conversations. And I think sometimes if we were to share just what we're talking about and things that we go through as moms and women and sisters and daughters, and just to have people relate to that, I think that it would be.
I think it's
Nice,
because we've
yeah.
seen so many podcasts that we ourselves listen to sometimes that are just more of having conversations. You're laughing, you're sharing events that transpired or topics with your friendships, and people are listening to that just to listen in on the jokes or the events that you were going through because they're relating
Just
to
to
it.
relate,
So that's what
yeah.
we were talking about. And then we also love reading a lot. So sometimes we even considered like picking a book for the week or for however long it is, and then reading it and doing recaps about it. We've always done like these little whole plans of all these podcasts that we've considered. We haven't fully gone through with it, but we've definitely considered many.
Cool. So this is the first opportunity
Yeah.
for you to share something. Let's ask you like the quick questions. Funniest experience you had as like people mixing up between the two of you. I'm sure you have a ton of these stories.
You know, one that's really funny to me because we were surprised that it happened was with her husband.
I was gonna say that one.
I remember we're very close. So even her husband and my ex-partner, like we're always together. And one day I think she was getting ready, but she stepped into the restroom and I was sitting down on the little bench in front of her bed. But I was looking down
On the phone.
doing something. And her husband approached me and put his arm around me. And he said, "Hey, babe." And I looked up at him and was like, oh, I froze, but I looked at him like, "It's not me." And then she came out and she saw and she said, "What are you doing? I'm right here."
I know. I said, really? You confuse us too?
And I think it's just, my mom even says it. If we're giving her our back, and of course, like she doesn't see the tattoos or she doesn't see our face, our voice and our hair, everything's very similar. So it's easy to confuse us. But that, I think, I remember he was so
Embarrassed.
Yeah, because they've been together for so long. What, 9 years now?
Yeah, we've been together for 9 years. So it caught me off guard, but it was just funny because I was like, oh, we can trick you too.
Yeah, and we do it all the time. Like
Yeah.
if my mom calls me or if anybody calls me or calls her, one or the other will pick up and we'll try to see if they notice. And most of the time they don't. Everybody
No.
says even our voice is similar. So, yeah.
Yeah, where sometimes we're on the phone with my mom and she's calling her and I pick it up and I'll be like, "Yes, mom," and we're having a conversation. And she just continues through with the whole message and she's listening because it's intended for her. But then I tell her, like, "Mom, it's not her, it's me." And I just went through a whole conversation. Yeah.
Or our kids, even when they walk into because we live together. So they'll walk into the kitchen and they'll come up to me like, "Mom, I need this." And I look at them and I'm like, "I'm not your mom. Your mom's in the restroom. We're going in the room." So everybody confuses us. We think it's funny at this point. I think people ask us that at work all the time. They ask, "Aren't you tired of us getting you guys confused?" And we think, no. It's a normal thing for us.
happens so
doesn't-
much.
Yeah.
It's a reason to laugh.
Yeah.
I want to know because I'm trying to get like the tea. What's your biggest pet peeve about each other?
What's yours?
I don't know if it's a pet peeve. I think it's see how I fix it. I think she could be nicer with her words sometimes. But then I also appreciate how blunt she is. You know, like she says things and she doesn't what is it, beat around the bush?
Sugarcoat
Yeah,
it.
she
Yeah,
doesn't
don't
sugarcoat
sugarcoat
it,
it.
which is needed sometimes.
Yeah.
But there's also times like when, like for example, my mom talked to us once. She was feeling down and Maribel was very like, "Just stop. Let's get up, do something. No being down on yourself."
I'm like, it's because she's remember, she's a psychology major. So for her, she's all about, let's work through it. Let's see what you're dealing with. Let's try to
validate
identify
this.
it. Let's validate it. Let's see what resources are out there for you. And for me, it's like, I get it. You're feeling this, but it's on you to stop there. Like you already identified it. So stop. And what are you going to do next? Because I'm not going to dwell on it. The moment you dwell on it is where now you're just extending the lifetime of something that's not good.
Yeah.
So it's not a pet peeve, but it's something where I'm like, sometimes I think it would help
Like,
to
be
have
nice.
a little bit more maybe patience or like more
Empathy.
sugar to her words. Yeah.
I
No, because
get-
she's very empathetic.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's just sometimes she could have sugarcoat her words a little bit.
Yeah, I think both work, right? It's just, I guess, it depends on the person. So I know one thing that like really worked on me was my mom is kind of more of like your temperament when it comes to her kids. And so she's she's a phenomenal mom. But I remember coming back from Africa and just kind of feeling low and depressed and not wanting to get out of bed. And I remember laying down on my bed and I'm not wanting to get up. And my mom's like, "What's wrong? Do you think that people actually have time to be laying down on the bed and not doing anything?" I was like, "It's because I'm going through this thing called depression." She's like, "Depression? No one has time for depression." She's like, "Get up right now. You want to be depressed? Go depressed and work." You know? And that helped me. That kind of like snapped me into like, okay, yeah, she's right. You know, I want to pay my bills. I want to have a good life. I want to go do this. Like, I really did not need at that moment the empathy talk, because then I would have been like, yes. And, you know, so.
And you do that to me too. Like, sometimes I'm dwelling on certain thoughts and she's very confident. Like, no, that's not going to happen. So very assertion. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
Because that will, okay, so I can, kind of feed on her confidence in whatever that situation is.
I think that's why we have such a good relationship, because
we balance each other out.
We balance each other out. She's very assertive, blunt, like, let's go, let's do it. To where when I need that, she's there for me. And when she needs to slow down and just have someone hear her out, I'm like, it's okay, sister, it's valid. Yeah.
Have you ever fought, like, big fight?
Once, I think, at work.
We have once. I don't even remember why we fought.
We didn't speak for like 3 days.
Wait, I want to know this story.
It's because of the different ways that we are. At work, we both went. We had like supervisor roles, but we also were very different in how we supervised. She was very straight to the point. Let's go. Like, no complaining. And I was more of like, what's going on? How can we work on this together to make sure that we get this stuff done? She was like, no. Just get it done,
I would be like, this is what we're supposed to do. This is how we've done it. We've done it many times before. So why isn't it not being done now?
Yeah. And then we bumped heads because we didn't agree on how we're going to move forward. So we're like, okay, fine. Let's agree to disagree, and we're just not going to talk. We don't argue. We don't fight. We give the silent treatment.
I think, when people think fighting, people probably think a discussion, like a verbal discussion, raising of voices. And for us, we don't necessarily raise the voices. We just kind of look at it and like, we give ourselves the, okay. And then we turn. And
that's it. We give each other space, because I think you can't take back words. So we've learned that we have different ways that we approach things. So the best way when we don't agree on things is to give each other the space and then come back to it once we're.
How did you learn that?
I think it's with my mom. My mom and my dad, when they would argue, my mom never liked arguing in front of us. So her form of saying she's upset with my dad would be the silent treatment with him. And my dad would walk in and be like, hey, how are you? How was your day? And my mom would be like this. So I think we saw that growing up, and now we tend to do that. Like, if we're bothered, we're not going to make a scene, we're not going to scream, but we are going to be quiet. So remember, when people at work see me, Maribel, you're quiet, are you upset? And sometimes I'm like, I'm bothered, I'm not upset. But
it's funny because typically when people see me quiet, they ask, are you okay? And I say, I'm processing.
I like the wording.
Yeah.
I'm choosing the words, because what we select in terms of words really affect the chemistry of our brain. Like, if you say I'm depressed, like, well, the brain is gonna associate all the feelings of depression and start to relive it. So choosing those words are really a good tactic.
Yeah, I teach my kids. I tell them whenever they're nervous about something, to kind of relate what they're feeling. Is it more nervousness or excitement? Because if you say you're nervous, you're gonna start things with anxiety. Yeah. So instead, say, I'm just excited. That's what, like, the butterflies in my tummy are.
That's so true.
So then you do things, and it kind of changes how you approach, and your brain starts considering, like, oh, maybe I'm not nervous. So then you won't do things when you're so anxious. Not that you won't do it. It won't be in an anxious way. It'll be in an excited way.
Yeah, and that's a good tip for public speaking. Like, people they say that the biggest fear people have is to speak in public, even more than the fear of death.
Yeah.
So one tip is really to get excited about speaking and not tell yourself like, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm excited. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Do you have questions for us?
No, I think it was nice that Diana invited us to come over because we've met with her so many times. And we're always talking about things. And then I see how we have similar interests. And I always tell Maribel, man, I think we have such good conversations with Diana. And there's also so much we can learn, I'm sure, from you too. Because once I started looking into your podcast and your social media and all the tools you provide, I thought, I even mentioned to Maribel once, like, she'd be a great mentor because there's so much for her to share and for us to learn. So when she provided us the opportunity to come over, I thought, like, perfect. You know, like, I can just watch and learn. And I feel like I tell Maribel all the time, my thing is I never want to stop learning because if I stop learning, if I stop being a student, then I'm not growing anymore. So I like to be around people who inspire me to learn. So I thank you very much for inviting me and having us over.
Yeah. I think since before Diana and I started working together, as soon as we heard Diana Melgar, we looked her up on LinkedIn, and then we did the LinkedIn stalking where we went through her social media, her posts, and we're like, oh, she does podcasts. And we started watching them and sharing them amongst each other. And then when she started, and she was like, Najah's my husband. And then we looked up Najah on LinkedIn. So then we started watching them. And then she shared her YouTube. So then I was on YouTube watching some of your videos. And I would share them with my sister sometimes. And then she would say, you should tell them to invite us to their podcast. That would be so cool. So then when Diana finally offered, we were like, yeah, we'll go. It took a bit just because of the schedule coordinations, but we're so happy to be here. And it's amazing what you guys have. It's beautiful. And it's something that not many people can do. And you guys are doing amazing at it.
Any feedback, any tips that we can improve on?
No.
And be brutally honest. Like we want to improve.
No, I think you guys are doing amazing because you guys have you're going into your second year. And your company is doing great. Yeah. Everything that you have, just the setup, the cameras, the lighting, everything is amazing. You have 3 settings to work from, which people with a year to 2 years might have 1.
If that, yeah.
If that.
I think if I had anything to say, I would say to keep bringing in more voices like us. I feel like this is our
she
first.
Said like us.
This is our first podcast. But I feel like in our community specifically, there's so many people that inspire me. And whether that be people our age in their 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s or even in their 20s, there's so many stories to tell. And just getting them out there and putting them out there for people to learn and to relate to. Because at the end of the day, I feel like as humans, we just want to connect with people. So this is one way to do that. I remember on LinkedIn, I hadn't heard before of Dr. Victor Rios. He's a professor. And I heard of him initially from an ex-partner that I had. But so he reframes the way that the school system calls dropouts, which he calls push-outs because they're pushed out, right? He reframes the way of thinking and he gives them an opportunity to continue learning even if they're in prison or they recently got out of prison. And he shows that it's the way we approach them and the way that we provide tools and resources that could really change a person's life. So I feel like this is one way that you guys are doing this. You guys are spreading the word. You guys are helping people connect. And that really makes a difference. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. Before we let you go, I have a lightning round of questions that I want to ask you. And here's the rule. You have one rule. You guys cannot look at each other.
We do that. Yeah,
we look at each other a lot.
There's no looking at each other. Okay. Eyes are here. So no looking at each other. Okay. And you have to do it split second. You cannot wait for to see what the other one is going to do. The purpose for this is really to see how, if you are truly on the same page, if you truly think the same thing that the other one does. And I'm curious that if not, why?
Okay, so who spends more money? Who's more dramatic? Who gets mad the fastest? Who's more confident?
We're so-so.
Who's more competitive?
I am.
I feel like she's more openly competitive.
Okay, but you can't talk.
Okay. Okay.
Who's more likely to become a CEO?
Like, I don't know.
We can't talk.
Who's a better communicator? And then one bonus question from my side. Who's more fun?
I feel like we're both fun in our own way.
Yes. It's because we have very different interests. See, for her, she loves going for walks to the park, reading, music. She loves being involved in church. So she's very, I think of her interests are very soothing.
Yeah.
For me, I love sports. Any sports that could keep me active. So whenever I think of I have free time, I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna go work out in my garage, or I'm gonna go run, or what can I do? Like I have a Stairmaster, I have a walking pad. What do I do? I'm gonna get on one of them. And then aside from that, if I'm tired, because I get tired too, I'll read a book or I'll watch series, and that's kind of like my personal time with my kids, with my husband. I always think of what can we do together, but it's something where we're all entertained by something, and that's me relaxing. Where her, she likes her alone time. She likes going for walks.
I feel like if I have my girls, we do creative things because I feel like that's the best way to express, and expressing helps you replenish, you know. But if I'm alone, then I do enjoy my alone time. That's how I power up again. I feel like if it's visiting coffee shops or even just music in the background, sitting in a corner with a book on hand, going to church, and even like my church community, my group of girls, we have a very close group of friends. I think it's like maybe 5 or 6. And they're the same group of girls.
For years.
For years, for 10, 12 years now, maybe more. But the way that we hang with each other is different because she's more of a like, let's go party, let's go like have fun.
I'm like, let's go party, let's go dance, let's go de-stress.
And I'm more like, let's go for dinner.
No, we're like, can we dance after the dinner?
It's funny because I had the two of you, both of you had to do the MBTI, right? And the two of you were so similar. The big difference between the two was that one recharged and was more extroverted, right? So recharged with more people, very outgoing, whereas
Introverted.
you were a little bit more on the introverted side, and you recharge with your alone time.
Yeah.
And so you're able to see that just from the conversation that we're having here. And Najah is also more on the introverted side.
Yeah.
You like your alone time?
More your vibe. Like, I haven't asked you about your books, your favorite books, because you read a lot. So I'm curious.
Right now, I'm on the High Five Method with Mel Robbins.
Yes.
But my favorite book, I have a lot of books.
Yes.
I
Top three.
told my sister when I have my house, I want a library because I have so many. Top 3, I like Atomic Habits. I like, let me see. I like some poetry books. Love some poetry by Rupi Kaur. Kaur. It's she's really good. And then I have to put some romance in there. I like let's see. Recently there's that, what is it, fantasy romance one? Fourth Wing?
Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
Is that the Diana has influence in, or?
No, we read that.
I actually hate that book.
She told me to read A Court of Thorns and Roses,
Yes.
which was actually really good. It just has a really slow start. But it's funny because my friend once told me my podcast and my books and my music is very bipolar. Because there's a bit of everything. So like I'll listen to classical 1 minute or piano or violin, and then it'll be like rock or bachata or pop or hip hop or rap or Christian or and then my books are the same. So it could be like a psychological thriller or mystery or romance or like self-development books that I have a bunch, or poetry. It's a little bit of everything.
Or the Bible.
Or the
You
Bible.
read the Bible a lot.
What about you? What's any favorites?
For me, I don't necessarily have favorites. I think we do switch topics a lot or genres. I do like reading romance books, but I think right now I've been into a lot of financial literacy just because I've tried to get a lot into investing because I got investments for myself and my kids. My big thing is we don't come from a lot of money. Like we weren't born rich, you know? So I want to be able to leave something behind for my kids to help them at least be financially stable for their early adult years if they don't continue that. But I like I read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes.
I like that one a
Classic.
lot.
That's
Very
a good
book.
one.
Yeah.
And then I have, which one's the other one? The one that has
Dave
the
Ramsey.
No, it has the money in the front.
The money.
The money in the cover.
Money.
No, it's
It
You
has
just
a
got it
brain,
too.
and the
Yeah.
brain is shaped
I
by
know
money.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I can envision it in exactly in my head, but I have no idea what.
Well, there's a couple books like that, and then I have different books because of a course that they used to facilitate at work, and then I never attended it. So it's verbal judo. I have that book as well, which is like verbal de-escalation. And then I also have which one else was I reading? I kind of go in between books, so I have some fantasy books in there. They're all bookmarked where I drop off.
yeah, it's funny.
And then I'll
People
return
tell
to
us,
it.
"What book are you reading?" And they're like, "Well,
What
which one
genre?"
of the three?" Yeah, because I can start something and then start another and then go back to it and then jump
you do?
between the. Yeah, I can.
And then sometimes you're like on the physical book, and then you're driving, so we're on the audio book.
Or you're on the
Audible.
Kindle.
Yeah, or on the
Yeah.
Yeah, no. When I picked up reading, I was leaving Lebanon to my first ever like working outside of my country, and so I went to Saudi Arabia, and I know nobody there, and it's a very conservative country, and I'm a solo person. So on the airport, there was a Virgin Megastore, which is like you know what Virgin Megastore is. And then it was so interesting. I was trying to pick up some DVDs back in the day to watch because like I'm never a reader. Like I never read anything. And I was in the DVD section and the book section was right close to me. And there's this old gentleman there and he's like, "Hey, you want to pick up a book?" He just like approached me like out of nowhere. And I was like, "Okay." And he said, "Here, you pick up 2 books." And he gave it to me. "Read those." And that was a start of a journey that ended up in the following 3-4 years. I read like more than 400 books that period in Saudi. These 2 books, if you're curious, were Who Moved My Cheese and The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
So he gave me literally the foundations of like all of these personal development books, and ever since I've never stopped.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
Yeah,
I feel like
Sometimes we, when we don't have anything to do, we're like, "You want to go to the store?" We're like, "Yeah." And instead of going to buy clothes or shoes, we're like, "Let's go to the book aisle."
yeah, everybody asks us like our birthday's coming up, and they say, "What do you want for your birthday?" And we're like, "Just give us a book." Yeah,
give us
Barnes and Noble gift card.
gift card.
I feel like I love books because you can learn so much from them, and then it's also like you can live so many lives. You know, I get invested in my books. I remember I never forget when I started reading in middle school. My mom got us it was like a House of Nights. It was like a witches and vampires and whatever. She got us the books, and I remember I was reading it. We were going to Target. And I started crying and I was bawling. And my mom looked back and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And it was because the character had died. So I get really invested. And I feel like I always tell my kids, instead of getting involved in so much drama in school, because kids nowadays are incredibly imaginative, just read a book. Read a
Diana
book. And
has
it's
a big
also
history with books too.
and it expands your vocabulary. Like sometimes my little one, the 11-year-old, I think, "How did you learn that word?" And she's not this book I read. Yeah.
Najah walked into the room a few days ago or sometime this last week, and I was crying, and he's like, "Baby, are you crying? What's wrong?" I was like, "My favorite character in my book just died." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're okay."
I'm so glad that I don't read novels. I'm so glad that all my books are like
Self-development.
self-development.
But that's
And I
why
developed-
that's why you have so much knowledge and you're able to see things in so many different perspectives because that's what you stay doing. I love doing that, of course. I love the self-development books, but I mean, recently my friend in my master's class, she got me onto the court of the court of roses. So she got me into romanticy, and like when she got me into that, now I haven't stopped. But I still love my self-development books. I still love looking at different perspectives. Like one of my favorite books right now is The Let Them Theory with Mel Robbins, right? And I've read that book, or I've listened to that book already 2 times, and I'm listening to it again now shorter instances. But it's a really good reminder because it's so easy for me to get worked up, so easy for me to be like, why are they doing that? Or like, why are they thinking that? Or why would they say that, you know? And then it's like, you know what? Let them do their thing. Like, why get so hot and bothered over it when my life is good? I'm healthy. I have an incredible partner. Like, life is continuously blessing me. And here I am focusing on the 1% that's negative, that isn't even doing anything to me. It's just, I see it and it bothers me. Yeah. Right. So it's always a good reminder. It's always good to see that fresh perspective.
Yeah.
I have some few more questions.
Go for it, honey.
So the first one is podcast wise. What do you listen to?
I like listening to more inspirational kind of. Diana and I share them a lot, so I do listen to Mel Robbins. I also listen to
Layla Hormozi
and her husband, but also to.
I listen to those two, and then I love. Like I like how he speaks, how he holds the conversation. It's Diary of a CEO. He's so good. And then Jay Shetty.
Jay Shetty.
I
think Jay Shetty's my go-to sometimes when I'm on LinkedIn or if I'm on YouTube. I'll just typically what I do on LinkedIn, not on LinkedIn, I'm sorry, on YouTube, I'll just put a term on there. Like I'll put corporate, or I'll put communication, leadership, whatever it is, and then it'll give me a list of the podcasts, and depending on which looks more appealing to the eye, that's the one I select, and then I'll listen to it.
And it has a soothing voice, Jay Shetty.
And there's different ones too. Like I feel like it depends on what you're looking for. Like, see, when I'm, like she said, I do my Bible study. So sometimes I'll do like, I just started with hers too, and I shared it with our community. I bumped into, it's Christ with Coffee on Ice or something like that. She's really good. And it's the same with the books. It's just what you need at that time. But Diary of a CEO would be like my number one. Or Andrew Huberman.
He loves Andrew Huberman.
Yes,
yeah, I used to, not anymore.
Mel Robbins.
He's too much. So there's Andrew Huberman and Alex Hormozi. They're too intense. I feel like when I'm listening to them, I'm like, I have to be on my A game mentally to be captured.
Because it's so much information.
It's too intense for me. Like I'll start taking notes. This is why I like Layla so much more, because she'll say stuff, and sometimes I'll be like, dang, I'm behind, you know. But with Alex Hormozi, he'll start talking, and then I'll be like, okay, that's a good point. And then he'll say something else, and then he'll say something else, and then the next episode is completely different, and then it's like, I'm so behind on everything. I'm a failure.
Sometimes when I'm at work or if I'm doing something, I'll listen to the podcast. And do you ever find yourself where you're like, this is a really good topic, and for some reason you're so into the conversation, but you zone out a little bit, and you're like, oh wait, let me go back because I missed this section here. I do that a lot.
You know what I do? And she'll notice it even in my bag today. I carry a little notebook all the time, everywhere, work, if I'm at the park, wherever, I carry it. So if I'm listening to something and I have a thought, I'll stop, I'll pause it, and I'll write it down so that I don't forget, and then I get back to it at some point in time. That's what I have to do with podcasts like Andrew Huberman, because he's so good, but he gives so much information because he wants to show that it's the science behind it, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a lot to process. So I'll make notes, and then I'll get back to it at some later point.
It's fascinating that, there are these big podcasters who everybody seem to listen to, and there's a lot of small upcoming podcasts that, they're trying, they're putting out good content, but it's like the winner wins it all, or the famous wins it all sometimes. But some of the upcoming ones, like the Up in Residency, like for example, there's that show called Up in Residency. It's pretty cool. And I think he's a great conversationalist, and he brings really interesting guests. And hopefully us one day we become like one of those top people. What's in your future 5 years down the line?
It's like you read my mind, because I was going to do my next question. No. Please.
You ask it again.
No. You go. I like the way that you
Okay.
You go first.
For me, I'm still in school, so I want to finish my bachelor's. I changed majors to business management. So that's one of my biggest goals right now, just to complete it. 5 years might be a little too soon, but I want to continue on with my master's in international business, because I tell Diana a lot. I like what I do. I love being able to present to people, share knowledge. I love connecting with people. I think that's whenever someone tells me, what's your favorite thing about work? Apart from what I'm doing, is just the connections I get to build with the team members. So I want to have an opportunity where I'm in a career where I'm presenting, whether it's at seminars, conferences, or keynotes, but I'm traveling the world doing that. And of course, I have kids, so I don't think in 5 years, but or unless I'll be like, Mom's flying out, I'll be back. Yeah.
For me, I am starting my master's program soon. And the goal is to do psychotherapy. I want to give back to our community, because I feel like therapy for me and just psychology, and it helped me understand people, better connect with people. And I feel like our community where we live now, it's so taboo. And even with our community, as in like our culture, our Hispanic culture, it's very taboo. And so in 5 years, I see myself sharing that with people in some way, shape, or form, whether it be just connecting with more people because we're speaking either on a podcast or public speaking, or sharing tools and resources, or actually doing therapy, something like that. But then I also like I don't want to limit myself to one thing. So I always see, if I do the therapy, I still do really enjoy working with teams, like at the company we work at. I enjoy the operations aspect, because I can see how things are being done and if we can improve, and how we can improve so that it works both for the team and for the company, so that everybody's happy.
We were talking about like posing and bodybuilding competition.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, you want to do this? Let's go.
He's like, let's go. So today specifically, we were talking about doing a bodybuilding competition, because we've started working out seriously, and went to the gym this morning at 5 a.m. and we were there with all of the people that are going to be doing a bodybuilding competition. And he was like, you want to do this? Let's do it. And he's willing to do it with me, so that way I can be supported to do it. And I can be able to focus and be in beast mode on this particular thing. And I think about it, and it's like, wow, what a freaking blessing is that, to have a partner who's willing to be right there with you to help push you whenever that motivation is lacking even just a little bit. I do think that it's so important that whoever you end up marrying, whoever you end up having as your partner, that they are your biggest cheerleader, that they're your biggest supporter.
Yeah.
Why? Because like this one, he is like, he even told me this morning, he's like, I am here to support you and help you reach whatever goal you want to do. It doesn't even matter to him what it is, but he's going to do whatever he can to help pull me up to get to the places that normally I wouldn't be able to reach, right?
And it's hard because Diana loves that I do everything with her. And sometimes I'm like, can you just do it on your own? I mean, of course she can, but she prefers it that we do things together. And sometimes she drags me into things. Like, for example, that gym, I've been resisting. I was like, let's build a gym here and let's do this. And we actually did that. But then she was right. Like, we really needed that community of
the culture,
the motivation to actually work out. But yeah, what else in your future, Diana?
Oh, sorry. No, but piggybacking on what you said, a lot of times will have that perspective of like, no, I want to do it my way. And we'll be like, okay, let's do it your way. And so for 2 years, we had our gym that we weren't really working out in. We weren't really doing, we got excited about the equipment.
Yeah.
But then over like 3 weeks, would be done with it. And it's like, okay, this isn't fun any longer. And so finally, he was like, 3 weeks ago, he was like, you know what? Like, let's just do it. I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, let's just do it. So we did it. And here we are.
Yeah, 3 weeks, we did not miss a single day, every day, 5 a.m.
That's
an
really good.
accomplishment.
Yeah. And I think it's because when you see, because I have the gym in our home too, but when you think of it, your home is your comfort zone. So you're comfortable, and it's harder to push yourself unless you really have that drive. Like my husband has an incredible drive. He's always energized.
Yeah.
He's very disciplined. He's the one that's always pushing me. But for myself, it takes more. Like I have to put the right music to kind of like motivate me, set the tone. But that's why on Saturdays we go out for runs, because I tell him we're gonna drive there, and then we're gonna run or jog. And there's no way that I'm not going to do it, because I have to make my way back to the vehicle. It's not like I could just, the garage door's right there, I'm going to go back inside. I have to run back, you know? And he does motivate me where he runs very fast. He runs his mile in like 5 or 6 minutes. And he'll wait for me at the end. And I'm taking my time. My pace is a lot slower. And he gets there. He's like, you did so fast today. And it's so, no, I didn't.
That's so cute, though.
And he'll be like, you did so good. You ran. You didn't stop. And I'll be like, I stopped twice.
No, I think it's
yeah.
true. It's it has to do a lot with the people you have around you. I remember at one point we had like a girls' run club. And it was like maybe 5 or 6 girls. It didn't get to be that big. But we're getting up around 5 or 6 in the morning and going for runs, and we weren't running much. And a lot of us were moms working our 9 to 5, and we would get up, meet somewhere, and then go for a run, or even if it was just a walk. And we were doing it for a good amount of time until everybody got busy, and then we stopped. But it's the same thing with like women's gyms. That's why they have the women's gym, because you're the same crowd, like the people motivate each other. So it is important who you choose as your partner, because they're either going to motivate you or they're going to kind of hold you back.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, 5 years from now, I would say, so what we are building here, I think that's the most exciting thing for us, especially that in a year and a half, we went from almost zero to close to $500,000 in revenue, which is amazing. And I think that essentially, like, I wanted to build something with purpose. And that purpose, you kind of touched on it today. Like you kind of understood it, which is really giving people a platform, especially here in the Inland Empire where we are. You know, people either going to be in LA or Houston, Texas, or like San Francisco. Those are the people who have platforms to communicate and share. And this area lacks a platform to do that. So we're giving people voice. We're allowing people to produce content at the highest level possible to showcase their expertise, tell their story. And most of our clients are businesses, so they were also trying to promote their business. So we're doing that. So I think we're playing a good essential role in the community, where we're helping small businesses grow and helping also voices and people to really share what's inside them. I remember more than 2-3 of my clients, they will tell me, like, when I finish my studio session, I feel like a big relief because there was a lot of things inside me and I wanted to share them. So that gives me a lot of like motivation to keep growing this. And essentially we want to see this kind of studios pop up in different cities and different areas and not stay only here. So that's kind of
that'd
like
be
what I see it.
amazing, walking into Parrot's Lab studio to record.
I know.
That's the goal, really, is that because, you know, people think that they scroll on social media, they think, oh, that's a video. I have a phone, it's a great camera. Let's just record. And they think like they underestimate what it takes to produce
There's so
content.
much that goes into it.
on a regular basis, like the prep before it, the actual recording, the editing, the posting, the captions, the covers, the strategy, like, what we're posting about, like content pillars. And so, it's a lot to it. And I think we have found a great team of 25 people strong right now. And they all like love this stuff and we're obsessed with this stuff. And I think this 5 years from now, we should be in I would say multiple studio locations, bigger, more impact, more clients.
Like, let us know the locations.
Like, can we stop at this one today?
Yeah, if you want to change the set or whatever,
All right, so there you have it. We've talked about so many different topics with two incredible individuals who happen to be twins, grew up together, and yet, as you can see, are so different from one another. Different things that make them tick, different things that motivate them, different things that they love. So who are we as leaders and who are we as facilitators to even begin to think that training people the same way is going to work? It's not. And I challenge you to think about that a little harder. I challenge you to go a little further and do what's right for the individual. Thank you. Have a good day.